All right, so we're going to move on to another film that some critics have said was a bit messy, especially the first act of it. I really liked it. I know that not everybody did, but Amsterdam, starring Margot Robbie, Christian Bale, and John David Washington. Amsterdam is the story of three friends who witness a murder and are framed for it. They discover this plot against America. It's rooted in American history somewhat. It's amazing that I think there's hardly any Americans in it. You got some, which is good, but you also have your fair amount of Brits and Canadians and Aussies in there. One thing I thought was a standout, I definitely thought Christian Bale was a standout. And, I can look at Margot Robbie for 2 hours anytime. She was wonderful in the movie. And it's great that she's doing these period pieces because she looks fantastic in these period costumes. And John David Washington is also very good. And you do get some nice, like De Niro plays a supporting role. You've also got Michael Shannon and Mike Myers in it. I would say the first part of it, you're watching this happen, and it's a bit like, okay, where are they going with this? You're just watching this movie sort of snowball on screen. Okay, so this is David O. Russell who made this. I recently watched American Hustle, which felt like David O. Russell making a Scorsese movie. This felt like Russell making a Coen Brothers movie, like wanting to make a Coen Brothers movie kind of thing. And the character is very quirky, especially Christian Bale's character, who is very reminded me a lot of Peter Falk, especially with like Peter Falk as Columbo, and he's quirky. He's also I thought everybody was quirky and funny. There's a lot of good stuff in it, but it doesn't really start to be a movie until the second act, when the plot kicks in, and you're like, oh, okay, I guess that's why all these people have come together. Taylor Swift, your favorite singer, is in it. Spoilers, but she's murdered in the first like 10 minutes of the film. And there's an extensive flashback to World War One. Again, this is set against the backdrop of World War One, like Pinocchio, but very different. And but it's really, I really liked it. It was something I watched again, and I just really enjoyed the performances. And what did you think of it?
I didn't like it as much as you did. It does have its moments, certainly. And it's because the cast is just so game for everything they have to do. And it's a very big ensemble cast. John David Washington, the apple did not fall far from Denzel's tree on that one. He's a very, very good actor. Anyone who calls him a nepo baby can F right off. The guy knows what he's doing.
We talked about him in Tenet, and we were polarized on Tenet, but we
Tenet, Black Klansman, like the guy is phenomenal. Christian Bale, yeah, he has so much fun just chewing scenery in this movie. Uh, Margot Robbie, she's functional. I don't think she gives a bad performance. I just think it's just nothing special, knowing what she's capable of. But I think my biggest critique of the film, my biggest criticisms, twofold. One is that a lot of the cast doesn't get that much to do. You have like Rami Malek and Anya Taylor-Joy basically as side characters waiting in the wing. De Niro is the only true analog to actual history. Taylor Swift, I mean, yeah, like I said, she's killed 10 minutes in, and for the brief time that she's there, she's really not allowed to make an impression. I imagine that when they filmed her death scene, David O. Russell just called from the set like, "Hey Taylor, write a song called Maybe It's Me," and she just collapsed on the stage. And then he said, "Perfect, we'll add a scream and ADR." Chris Rock completely wasted. Zoe Saldana gets to be just a token love interest. I love these actors. I want them to do so much more. Even though I make fun of Taylor Swift, she actually is a half decent actress. I was like, I want her to be able to stretch her range. When you show me this massive ensemble cast and only three of them get to do anything, that kind of didn't sit right with me. And the other thing was the script is weirdly repetitive. The three main characters say the word Amsterdam about 4,000 times, and there are some weird bits of dialogue where they're redundant within themselves. I think there's one scene where Margot Robbie says something to the effect of, "The dream repeats itself, so history repeats itself, so the dream repeats itself." I'm just sitting in the theater going, what was that? And the thing is, I compared this to something like The Banshees of Inisherin that we talked about on the last episode. Both of these films have most likely intentionally banal dialogue. But with Banshees of Inisherin, it serves the primary thesis and theme of the film because it's illustrating just how much of a rut this whole community is in and why Brendan Gleeson wants to break off his friendship from Colin Farrell because he's such a dullard. He's a well-meaning dullard, but a dullard nonetheless. Here, it just feels like you're padding the runtime. And when you're David O. Russell, you thrive on high-octane character energy. That's why something like American Hustle works so well. It's why Silver Linings Playbook works so well. It's like, let the actors feed into each other's energy and let the camera roll, basically. There are moments in Amsterdam where that happens, particularly in the climax at the Veterans Dinner and in the earlier flashbacks to when the three all met during the war. Like those moments are there, and they're very funny. John David Washington is not really known as a comic actor. I mean, Margot Robbie's played, Harley Quinn, so she has comic sensibilities, and of course Christian Bale can play any character you put in front of him, whether it's dramatic or serious. So the fact that they're able to play off each other with such good comic timing is one of the highlights of the film. I just wanted more of that.
For me, it's a character movie. I also, when I first saw it, it was one of those films that I liked better on second viewing because when you first see it, it is a bit off-putting. There's a lot of wide-angle shots in it that are kind of unsettling and very sort of surreal looking. Everything kind of looks like the flashback scenes in particular look a bit dreamy because he's getting close to people with a wide-angle lens. But I did have a lot of fun with it, and it was one of the, unlike Banshees of Inisherin, it's one of those films that I want to see again.